मुदीरे नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी शृणतां स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्य श्रवण कीर्तना यन्तस्तोय भद्राणि विदुनोति सुहृत्सुताम्. Hare Krishna. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, sixth chapter, verse number 18. Tvacham asya vinirбhinnam vivishurdhishnyam oshadhi anshena romabhih kandum yairso pratipadyate. Tvacham asya vinirбhinnam vivishurdhishnyam oshadhi anshena romabhih kandum yairso pratipadyate. Tvacham asya vinirбhinnam विविशिर्धीष्ण्यम् ओषधि अंशेन रोमभिः कण्डुं येषौ प्रतिपद्यते. Synonyms. Tvacham, skin, asya, of the gigantic form, vinirбhinnam, being separately manifested, vivishu, entered, dhishnyam, the controlling deity, oshadhi, sensations, amshena, with parts, romabhi, through the hairs on the body, kandum, itching, yai, by which, asau, the living entity, pratipadyate, experiences. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When there was a separate manifestation of skin, the controlling deities of sensations and their different parts entered into it, and thus the living entities feel itching and happiness due to touch. Purport. For sense perception, there are two principal items, touch and itching, and both of them are controlled by the skin and the hairs on the body. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti, the controlling deity of touch is the air passing within the body, and the controlling deity of the hairs on the body is Oshdhya. For the skin, the object of perception is touch, and for the hairs on the body, the object of perception is itching. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Shri Chaitanya Manohishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jutapadkamlam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विकवानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वांचा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद. हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे. हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nityananda Vadutendu Vasad Prana Vallabha Janav Jivit Patihi Krishna Prema Padat Prabhu Padmavati Shruta Shriman Sachinandana Purvajaha Bhavan Mukta Jagatrata Rakt Gaur Kalevaraha. Hare Krishna. First of all, I would like to pay my humble obeisances to the lotus feet of all the assembled Vaishnavas to bless me so that I can say something which is of some value. I'd also like to seek blessings of Madhupati Prabhu and thank him that he ordered me to speak on this verse, and with that he blessed me, empowered me so that I can say something. We are reading the discussion between Mahatma Vidur and Maitreya Muni, and during the discussion, how Mahatma Vidur requested Maitreya Muni to speak on the creation, process of creation of this world. And Maitreya Muni, in that process, he is explaining that how first, demigods appeared, and then they are praying to Krishna, praying to Lord Vishnu, that please help us what to do. And now with that, everything is there. Demigods are there. All the elements which are required for creation are there, but there is no sanction yet of Lord Krishna, and because of that, nothing is happening. And we have, discussed in the past that how we can always approach, and that's the parampara, that's the teaching of the parampara, that approach Krishna. Whether whatever we want to do. Krishna, same is the teaching in Bhagavad Gita. Yat karoshi yad agnashi yad jihoshi dadashi yat tapasvashi kaunteya tad kurushu madarpanam. Whatever you do. So here we are seeing the example that demigods are asked to lead the process of creation, and this is yet to happen. Lord Brahma is yet to be. He is the first jiva tattva, first jiva who is born, and then from whom manus come, and then from there the manushya or the humanly living entities, that creation starts. But this is in sync with the teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita are in sync. Now, here we can understand from this verse. First, wonderfully, Madhupati Prabhu explained yesterday that how he was talking on the karna, how the hearing senses were created, and then Prabhupada actually goes on and explains. He writes explanation there. That's the start of the Navada Bhakti, or the basic of any. If we want to progress in the Bhakti line, then we have to start by hearing. Now, when I was actually preparing for and reading around for this class today, or this verse, I was thinking on that. See, there are for all of our bodily functions, there are senses and then sense objects. Those are the two things, and that's what is we know. Okay, in our teachings, day-to-day experiences, we study in schools that yes, you have five senses, a karma indriya, and then Gyanendriya, the five senses for knowledge, and then uh, five senses for activities. Okay, and then there are sense objects. For example, tongue, and then tongue is the sense, and then the sense object will be the items we taste. So similarly, for skin there is touch. For ear there is sense, and then sense object is hearing. Okay, eyes, and then it's looking. But what is Bhagavatam saying? It's telling, it's taking us one level deeper. And what it is saying is that there are controlling deities of these sense objects. So it's just not the senses and the sense objects, because we can see from the practical experiences that uh, in some cases when that empowerment has been taken away, senses will be there and senses will be perfectly there and then in good healthy condition, but will stop functioning because the power empowerment which is given, the controlling deities have taken the empowerment, and then because of that it cannot function. And then here and then one level deeper if we go, we see that all these controlling deities are actually in the uh, under the control of the supreme controller, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karan Karan. So they all are under the controlling under the control of Krishna. So when we actually when we actually look at it, from Srimad Bhagavatam's angle, nothing is happening by accident. There is a proper process of creation, right from right from the I wanted to keep it tab on time as well. Okay, so right from Lord Krishna, the first expansion is Lord Balaram, from whom the Chaturvyuha expansion happened: Sankarshan, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, and Vasudev. And then from that Sankarshan, the next Chaturvyuha expansion happened. And then in this process, then from there Sankarshana expands into Mahavishnu, who is lying in the Karnarnak ocean, and that's why he's also called Karano Dakshai Vishnu. And then there is a Pradhana Tattva, and then he glances over it, and that glance becomes, Sadashiv. And then with that, the agitation starts, and then this process of creation starts from there. And then from his each of his pores of his body, while Mahavishnu is lying in that Karnanak ocean and then breathing out, all these bubbles are coming out, and those bubbles are, each and every bubble is a universe. And then in each universe, Mahavishnu expands and then enters as Garbhodak Chai Vishnu. Okay? And then he fills half of it with his sweat, and then he lies in that ocean. And from there, so we have reached till that part, and then from there, there's this for the understanding of these demigods, there's this Mahapurusha avatara, uh, and then a Virat Rupa, which is there, and then different senses and sense objects are being created, and then demigods for those sense objects are being created. And then from here, from the navel of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, a lotus flower will sprout, and then there will come Lord Brahma, and then from there he will do the creation. And then this Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and then expands into Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, and then he takes over the control of mode of goodness, mode of goodness, and then enters as a super soul, and then is there with each and every uh, living entity. Okay? So it's the entire process, and then so nicely it is meticulously explained in Srimad Bhagavatam, and nothing, not even a straw is moving by accident. Okay? Can it happen that uh, a beautiful creation like this, which is self-sustainable, is there and accidentally happening? It's impossible. But that's what is the modern day scientists are saying. That's why I was listening to a class yesterday, and then Maharaj there was explaining, and he is saying that this is a Sunda and Amarak teachings. This the modern theory of process of creation is called Big Bang, and then in that Big Bang theory, um, the way it is explained is that 14 billion years ago something happened. So the exact words are like, um, there was there's some event happened, and then because of unknown reasons, and then um a big bang happened, and then at the trillionth of a second, just before that, there's nothing but energy. Okay, and then at the 1 billionth of a second, suddenly that energy converted into matter, and that's how the universe started, and then um, expansions, and then it started into started expanding. And then there is another theory called big bounce theory. Now, what is big bounce theory? So scientists are saying that, well, what happens is that this universe is expanding, and then it will keep on expanding, and then it will run out of steam, and then it will start shrinking, and then it will start shrinking, and then it will shrink back to that same 0 point where it started from. Out of nothing, it will go back to nothing, and then after some interval, it will this big bang will happen again. So this is happening in cycle. That's the theory, and then there is no known reason. Now that's totally absurd. And that's why Maharaj was referring it as Sunda and Amarak teaching. Because when Hiranyakashipu uh, saw that his son Prahlad Maharaj was praying to Lord Vishnu, then he handed him over to Sunda and Amarak to teach about the demoniac science. Um, but now we have to understand another part of it, that okay, if this the modern day science, and then these modern learnings, they are compared to Sunday and Amarak's teaching, then should we ignore it? And no, we should not. I remember one pastime, forgetting Maharaj's name, but some Maharaj was traveling with Srila Prabhupada in a flight, and then Prabhupada said that okay, to to go through the journey, and then to do time pass, let's do debate. And then in the debate, you take the side of Mayavadis, I'll take the side of Hindu. I'll um, uh, uh, I'll take the side of Vedic teachings, and then let's debate. And then Prabhupada defeated Maharaj. And then Prabhupada said, let's now switch the sides. And then Prabhupada started debating as a Mayavadi, and Maharaj was debating as, uh, Krishna conscious, based on the Vedic teaching. And then Prabhupada defeated again. And then he said that we should know it like that. We should know from both the angles. And then only we can, um, you know, uh, conquer. Then we can establish Krishna consciousness with more faith, because it's important. Okay, we can't live in our own silos. Okay, so it's important to have the understanding of uh, this scientific teachings, other. Uh, but first, we should have, before we go and then start indulging into. First, we should have our grounding, our basics. Very important. That's created. Okay, before we explore other things. Okay. And then kids are actually automatically getting from school all these modern day science teachings, and then at home we give them Bhagavatam teachings, and then that way they are very perfectly situated. Okay? That's one part. So this is the um, main difference between a devotee and a non-devotee. Okay? Then um, that a devotee understands that Krishna is the source of everything, and a non-devotee just defies that. Like Bhagavad Gita says that Ajananti Mamuda Manushim Tanum Ashritam. So what is this Mayavadis or atheist? What they do? They hate Krishna, deride. That's a very strong word, you know. And they sometimes they use Bhagavad Gita itself to defy the existence of Krishna. Okay, for example, in this case, they can take this verse and say that, okay, Aujananti Mamuda Manushim Tanum Ashritam. When Krishna is coming as in the human body, so he's saying, oh, he's coming in human body. That means before this body, he was some other body. But that's not right. That's not the correct understanding. That's just picking on one verse. Prabhupada has explained that it's being said because the activities which Krishna did are not possible with the humanly body. That's why it's, even though it's saying, but it's not actually avtaran in the human form. Krishna is coming in his, you know, uh, Satchidananda Vigrah, his eternal form. Okay. And now the next question may come, that, well, what's the use of it? I see that there are so many shortcomings in a devotee or somebody who is practicing Krishna consciousness. On the other side, I see that there are so many good qualities present in a person who is atheist. So it doesn't matter whether you are a theist or an atheist. What matters is, are you a good person? Okay? And Prabhupada has very strongly opposed this point, saying that no, there cannot be a good quality in a non-devotee. Now, how do we understand this point? It's a very strong point. I mean, we see that, oh, there is this person who is atheist, doesn't believe in Krishna consciousness, but at the same time, this person is serving the community so nicely. He's such a nice Desh Bhakta. He's such a nice, he's involved in saving human lives. He's involved in saving animal lives, So this person is really good. Now, I came across a beautiful example yesterday that, think about like this, that you have a family, and then the grandparent or the uh, parent are the head of the family. Now, if somebody walks into the family and then is teaching the kids very nicely, teaching the younger ones, the adult ones, the ladies, the person, very nicely, everybody very nicely, he's looking at the pet in the house and then taking care of it, thinking, oh wow, and then glorifying it. But at the same time, that person, while in the house, is ignoring the head of the family. Now, if that person is ignoring the head of the family, will the family be happy? Just like, no, this head of the family doesn't exist. No, nobody in the family will be happy. Even if this person is very soft spoken, taking care of, talking very nicely, not saying any rude words, but is ignoring, is disrespecting the root of the family, as if this root doesn't exist. So that's how we have to understand that, if somebody is involved in all kinds of philanthropic activities but is ignoring the root of it, then it's just a matter of time, because this person is very self-centered, and because of that, it's just a matter of time before this person burst out. And I'll take one good example. Kamsa, right before the Akashvani happened, which said that, "Oh Kamsa, you're a fool, and the Devaki and Vasudeva you're serving so nicely and driving their chariot, their eighth son is going to be the cause of your death, is going to kill you." Till that moment, if we look at Kamsa's activities, he was acting like a perfect brother. He was the king, and in the marriage, after the marriage of Devaki and Vasudeva, he himself was driving the chariot. So, if we look at it from outside, it looks like that yes, this person is a very good person, but it was only a matter of time. Everybody has to die. It's not that, it's not that Kamsa didn't know that his death will come ultimately, but just by learning about his death, what did he do? He turned. He showed his true colors. At the same time, we see the example of other people. Like we take example of Parikshit Maharaj, because of whom we got this wonderful scripture, Srimad Bhagavatam. When he learned about his death, what did he do? He said, okay, now it's time. And he accepted it. And he said, okay, what should I do so that I can make my life successful? We hear about Pandavas, on the outset, somebody from outside, if is analyzing, without going deep into Mahabharata, will say that Pandavas were very greedy people. They killed so many, they were the cause of so much of killing, just so that they can rule a part of land, a piece of land. Okay? But if we go deeper, we see that now it was for the pleasure of Krishna, because Krishna has come down to establish dharma. And when Pandavas hear about the departure of Krishna, what do? They leave everything, all the kingdom they fought for so vigorously, and start going towards, take the Vanaprastha, and then all five brothers in Devaki. That's another story. Time is limited, but they first go towards Dwarika. They see that Dwarika is submerged, then go towards Himalayas, and then through that route they go directly to Swargalok. So it's very important that that's the story I was talking about. So it's very important that we understand uh, the teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and practice it in our day-to-day life, understanding that Krishna is the source of uh, everything. Nothing is happening by accident. And what do we do once we have that understanding is try to serve Krishna. So I'd like to stop here, and because it's time, and there's 1 minute. So if someone has any quick reflections want to share, otherwise we can over to you, Madhupati.